You brought up how interconnected every single one of these problems are, from culture to the economy. But if I could say to you, you could snap your fingers, politics be damned, and you could fix one problem at the root of all of this in America.
Oh, man.
You forwarded mass migration, you forwarded immigration, you talk about the family unit, but what would be the root unit you would snap your fingers and fix?
It's probably the migration problem. And I think, again, the President of the United States has shown in just a few short months what you can do. We've got illegal border crossings effectively at zero. We've got net migration negative in this country for the first time. And why do I say that? First of all, I think it's very hard to feel, like you're part of the same country when your leadership brings in tens of millions of people uninvited. So that sense of shared American identity, the sense that we're part of the same American family, I think that gets destroyed when you import 20, 30 million people without any democratic check on it. So that's number one. Number two, I think it's terrible for the wages of working class people. You see this in every place where you bring in low-wage immigrants. It's bad for the wages of Americans who just want to work a good job and earn a good wage in their communities. And the third thing that I point out is crime and drugs. We know that while most, of course, even illegal immigrants are not bringing in fentanyl, they are used by the cartels as vectors to traffic this illegal poison. And so it makes the opioid problem worse, it makes wages worse, and it makes our sense of common American identity worse. I think the migration issue really is the root of what went wrong during the Biden administration. By the way, it's why the Democrats are so obsessed with it. If you ask yourself, like, what does the modern National Democratic Party believe in? What do they fight most aggressively for? They fight most aggressively to continue to flood the United States with millions and millions of low-wage immigrants. The fact that that is the reason for existing for the Democratic Party should make all Americans sort of step back and say, what the hell is wrong with these people?
Zohran Mamdani is the leading candidate for mayor in New York City. Yes, your Mawmaw, by the way, I think was a lifelong Democrat.
She was.
What do you think it says about the left that Zohran Mamdani is a leading candidate for a big political office as a Democrat? And what would your Mawmaw say about modern Democrats?
I think Mawmaw would say this is crazy. I think that she would say the modern Democratic Party doesn't represent her at all. By the way, there are two things that Mawmaw, yes, she was a lifelong Democrat. She believed in standing up for working people. She believed in good wages for a good job. She was her husband was a union Democrat for 40 years, and that's really where it came from. But one, she thought politicians ought to have a sense of humor. Democrats, the one thing they should learn from President Trump is to laugh at themselves a little bit. They don't have to be so serious. They don't have to get offended at everything. Sometimes it's actually a good thing to have a sense of humor about our political process. And the second thing is, Mawmaw, she was a Democrat who loved this country and felt gratitude for this country. She had multiple relatives who served in World War II, who served in World War I. She remembered that war like it was yesterday. She would tell me about World War II and her brother and her dad going off to fight in the Pacific. Does Mamdani, when you hear him speak, is this a man who feels gratitude for the United States of America? Is this a man who feels grateful for all of the opportunities, the incredible bounty of this country? I don't know the guy, but my sense is he's had a very good life in this country. It would be nice for him to occasionally show a sense of gratitude instead of just attacking the United States for all of its problems.
You bring up humor. Gavin Newsom sure thinks he's a comedian these days on social media, and so does much of the left. His polling numbers have gone way up since he started mimicking President Trump on social media.
Yeah.
What do you make of Governor Newsom?
I make of Governor Newsom that you said he's mimicking Donald Trump, and I think that's exactly right. The lesson of Donald Trump, the lesson of President Trump in American politics is you've got to be authentic to yourself. And when I see Gavin Newsom trying to act like Donald Trump, that's the opposite of authenticity. He's not trying to be Gavin Newsom, whoever that is. He's trying to be a fake carbon copy of Donald Trump, and it just doesn't work. You can't mimic the king. You can't mimic the master. You ought to just go and be yourself, and I think that the American people would like that a lot more than a cheap imitation of the President of the United States.